Hi friends, welcome back to The Classy Mommy. I'm Brittney and I'm glad you're here. Justin's here with me today. In 1 month we will have been married for 5 years. So we decided to do the husband tag and have the questions right here on our phone. So he hasn't had a chance to look through all of these yet. So some of them he'll have to think fast on his toes.
Do I win husband points for pointing out that in 1 month we'll have been married for 6 years, not 5?
Oh really? Husband points. Oops. That's funny. Okay, question 1. How and where did we meet?
We met on the internets. The interwebs, yes.
Interwebs.
We met on christianmingle.com. It was October 28th, 2011.
You get a lot of points. You didn't know how many years we were married.
It was October 28th because I think I've dropped the ball in still celebrating that as a holiday, but for a while I was celebrating that as a holiday.
October 28th?
Yeah, as I was saying that was the second best day of my entire life.
Oh, 3 husband points.
Yeah.
Okay, Brittney's down 1 point, Justin's up 3 points, I guess. 2, what was your first impression?
My first impression was
Good?
like, dang.
Well, hopefully my dad's not watching. Number 3, how and where was our first date? I guess what would you consider a date if you meet online?
Right, well.
Our first phone call?
Like first
Our
phone
first
call
email?
or first
You had me at first
date?
email?
Yeah, can you clarify the question?
I guess in person.
Okay, so first date in person was, I think we've been talking for maybe like a month, and I came here to Idaho, and I came and picked you up. Well, we didn't really go out the first night we met in person because I had gotten here, and I think it was like your music concert for school, and so you had just gotten there, and so we were just too tired to go out. So I think the following night we went out for Mexican food at Fiesta Guadalajara in Ontario, Oregon.
Yeah, it's a weird question because when you meet online, it's like, is the phone call your first date? If that was the case, you were on a long drive for work and I was at my house. Yeah. So I don't know. It's a weird question when you meet someone online, right? Like, where was our first email? I don't know. Where was our first kiss and how was it? I'll just answer, it was good. We got married.
I don't like to brag. I don't like to brag, but it was good. Yeah.
It was good. Enough said. Number 5. When did you meet my family?
I think it was that same night. Yeah.
Same first visit,
Actually, it was. I think it was like slightly awkward because I was waiting for you to get back from your concert, and I think your sister and mom thought it would be really funny if they met me in person before you did. So I think you guys were in a mad rush of who was going to get to your house first, and they actually got to your house first, and they were like, oh, we won, we gave you a hug before Brittney ever did.
Yeah, that sounds right. How did you know I was the one?
How did I know that you were the one? I've told you this a lot of times before, but I don't know if I can think of like any exact moment, but I do remember that one of the things that really caught my eye, other than just how gorgeous you were.
Check.
But not as gorgeous as she is now, of course.
Of course.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. That's why we've been married for either 5 or 6 years.
It's felt like 6 years to me.
The clock would say 6 years. The calendar would say that.
Right, but besides that, I was just blown away by how complimentary you are with your words towards people, and so I think that was, hearing how you spoke about your brother and your dad, you were just so complimentary, and I'm just used to people being, at the time I was used to people being like more sarcastic with their humor and, kind of doing little digs at people. And so I was just taken away by how, just how much you lifted people up with your words. And I was like, dang, well, she talks that nicely about people. I'd really like to be around her.
Oh, thanks, sweetheart. I guess you've already answered this. How long have we been together? Don't ask me, I guess.
Well, yeah, so we've been married for going on 6 years, and so then we met then on October 28th. Yeah, 2011.
Oh, 7 years. 9, how do you resolve problems? Are we admitting that sometimes we have problems?
Like
I
problems with each other?
Well, I guess so. Yeah. Let's say problems with each other.
Yeah. I think we just try to communicate honestly with each other, but then something that I think you do so well that you've really helped me grow in is trying to remember in the midst of the situation what the other person's heart is. And so I think, sometimes...
Like that we have good intent for each other all the time.
Right,
even
right.
if it comes out wrong.
Right, and I think that sometimes, you can get so caught up in the emotion of the moment that I think it's really helpful, in conflict to be able to remember, like, okay, Brittney's saying this right now, but I know that, I've known her for all these years, and so I know that her
for all these 6 years.
Right. So I know what her heart really is.
Yeah.
And so I need to, in that moment, see past the emotion and everything and be able to remember, I know that her heart is maybe not what she's saying at the moment.
Sure, yeah. It's really hard to say things that don't really represent, fully how we feel sometimes. Maybe in that second, but not really.
Right.
What do both of you do for a living, and are you using your college degree?
Yeah, so you want me to answer what you're doing for a living too?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what the question said, so
yeah.
I guess so.
So Brittney is the world's most amazing teacher.
Thank you.
I'm a little biased, but I believe it's true. And so she teaches, music school, elementary school. So absolutely, she's using her degree. And I am a UX designer or product designer, whatever you want to call it. So I design like software and web experiences.
But people might not really know what that is because it does feel like a kind of a new niche. So
yeah, so probably the easiest way to describe it is that think back to since the internet started in the 90s, that you have people on the technical side, like a software developer, and they make things work online. And then you have designers who try to make things look good. And UX design is kind of like a third leg of the stool, so to speak, that's come along of saying something can technically work and it can look good, but be hard to use. And so UX designers, we're trying to solve that problem of saying, how do we make something that's easier to use for people?
Oh, I like that. That's a good way to put it. So are you using your degree?
I'm using my graduate degree. My undergraduate degree was more focused on music and cultural studies and communication. So I'd like to think that that's all in the mixture of what helps me be able to have insights into how people think and how people act and everything. But
oh yeah, I think definitely. I think any kind of higher education, just helps the way you think about like key problem solving skills. Yeah. What key elements make a successful marriage and relationship?
What key elements of marriage?
It's kind of broad, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I think a big part of what we were just mentioning, about conflict resolution, about being able to remember the person's heart, and I think being able to, we like to say that the aim of our marriage is to have a marriage that's based on grace, and so meaning that we are treating you better than maybe you deserve at the moment,
Sure, yeah.
And so it's like, if you're so great at this, so it's like if I'm having a bad day or something like that, and I'm having a rotten attitude or something like that, you're so good at being able to say, you know what, right now, you're not fun to be around at this moment, but I'm going to give you grace and remember that this is not what your heart really is.
Sure, yeah, I like that. We use that phrase a lot. That our marriage is built on grace. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it goes both ways. That it goes to ourselves too, giving ourselves grace, giving each other grace. Yeah. Oh, what do you love about me? This is a fun game. We should do this game all the time.
I think I've already been saying it.
You could just say more things, I guess. No, you've already been kind of talking about that.
Yeah, no, I love that you lift people up.
You can just keep going.
And her love language is words of encourament, so she loves this.
Yes, it is. This is great. This is a fun thing to do.
Right. So another thing that I love about you is, it sounds cliche to say like you make me a better man, but I think that you really do that in that I feel like a lot of times since I met you, you have a way of calling out who I want to be and who I'm aiming to be, rather than maybe what I'm reflecting in the moment. And so it's like, you know, if I'm losing my, you know, if I'm losing my temper with the kids or something like that, you know, instead of,
which you don't really do, but you know,
sure,
yeah, just like if you can feel your patience is
yeah. Well, I think everybody loses their patience, you know, and so, you know, if in that moment, you know, rather than saying, hey, you know, try to be more patient or something like that, you know, you really get at affirming like, that, you know, you're such a great father, you're such a patient father, you know, and it might not be what I feel like I'm acting out at the moment, but I think by kind of like calling that out, it helps me to be that.
Yeah, I think that's something that we kind of say to each other too. If something's coming out of us that isn't really what's inside of our hearts, we just remind each other like, hey, that's not you. You know, that's not really what's inside of you. That's not who you are. Mm-hmm. You're really, you know, amazing. You're really patient. You're really gracious, and or you know, whatever it is. But I think we do that for each other a lot. Like, hey, that's not really you. You know. Yeah. Places you want to travel.
Oh, well, I would really like to. I mean, there's a lot of places. I've gotten to see some cool places, but
Justin's traveled a lot. You've been to almost every continent.
Not. You're almost giving me too much credit.
Oh.
I haven't been to.
Well, he's been to a lot of places.
Continent. Another great strength of hers. She really talks me off.
Exaggerating.
Like exaggerating in your favor.
Yes. You've gotten to travel a lot.
Yeah, but I haven't gotten to hit up kind of some of the more classic touristy locations like Europe and so I think I would very much like to see Europe, but especially I would like to see Germany, because that's what so much of my heritage is from, and Norway, and I don't know how I'm going to work this out, because I would very much like to see some sort of like World War II tour, you know, where you're seeing some of the places there that happened, but I know that some of that can be a little bit too raw for you.
Yeah, I don't know if I could handle it.
So I don't know how we would coordinate that tour for me to
drop you off on the tour bus at Auschwitz, and then I could hang out at the park across the street or something.
Right. I don't know. So because I would very much like to, you know, I think for me, I you know, like, even as raw as it is, I want to be able to be there and experience it and be able to kind of take in the reality of what really happened there, you know. And I know that's maybe too much for you.
I don't think I could. Yeah, I think I could really have a lot of respect for being somewhere, but I think I would lose it. So.
Yeah.
You can go on that trip by yourself, I guess.
Maybe I'll go with my brother.
That's a great idea.